Welcome back to the Lunch Table Food for Thought. I'm Nico. Blitz. Subscribe, like, comment, rate. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Lunch Table, man. Before we start this podcast, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Marcos J. Teno and Jessica. They put me on with a lot of artists. Sometimes it's them pitching it to me. Other times it's them just doing projects with artists. Me just being like, yo, this person is dope. So I'm over on Marcos's Instagram, and then he posts this video that he directed called Bootstraps. And then I was immediately encapsulated because in the beginning, it sampled this same sample that was on J. Cole's GOMD, and I was like, okay, wait, I'm already into it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to butcher the name of the song. I'm just saying, if you know GOMD, it's a good song. But I listened to the song. I went on this girl's YouTube. I watched the entire video, and I was like, yo, a whole bunch of messages in here that I really fuck with. She goes by the name of Lyric Michelle. Lyric was popping home, girl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm loving the hair.
Thank you. One hell of an intro. Okay, now the dots are starting to get connected.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like beforehand, it's like it's hard for me to talk to you about like anybody or anything because I'm like, let's just save it for the podcast.
Right.
By the way, you got something in your teeth, just like right here.
See?
Other tooth.
That's a real one. You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
Like out here smiling.
I'm just saying, we finna be on here for about like maybe 40 minutes. Yeah, you good now. We finna be on here for like 40 minutes. I ain't trying to.
Right.
You're gonna watch the video. You're gonna watch the video again and be like, oh, like this motherfucker didn't tell me there was something in my tooth.
Alex, what you doing back there, Alex? What you doing, man?
Come on, Alex. So, Lyric, amazing music, but let's start from the beginning. Where are you from?
I'm from Houston, Texas.
That's crazy. You're the third person from Texas who's been in here within the past week.
Really?
Yeah.
Who else?
I've had 5-star Denature and this kid named Blake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I know Blake.
Yeah, well, Blake is from like I don't know, he moved to San Antonio later on.
Okay.
Then 5-star, he was from something circle, a very like 3,000 people in his town or whatever.
Right.
Something like that. But you're from what part of Texas again?
Houston,
Texas.
Well, technically, I'm first generation American. Both my parents are Nigerian, and I was born in Chicago, but I was raised in Houston.
Okay.
So Houston is where I'm from.
So at what age did you move over to Houston?
2nd grade.
Oh, so, super young then.
Yeah, like 3rd grade I started. Yeah. So all of my, formidable years, everything I've learned, it's all Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you growing up in such a big city?
It's dope. I mean, Houston, it's like you can kind of forget you're in Texas, you know what I mean? In the sense that there's a lot of people there from a lot of different walks of life, and it's not like what you might think stereotypic like Texas is. Even though, I mean, I have seen a nigga on a horse a couple of times, but that's neither here nor there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, Houston just has a lot of culture, food, people from all walks of life.
So stereotypical Texas, barren wasteland.
Yeah.
Everybody riding around horses, Wild West type of shit.
Yeah.
And Houston's like a straight up city.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving over there in 2nd grade, were you able to understand what was going on?
Yeah, so we moved because there was a shooting that my mom saw and reported, and then we started getting threats. So they were already like, my mom was a janitor, like working at a nursing home, and my dad was like drove a taxi cab, and it was 6 of us in like 1-bedroom apartment. So we just moved.
Wait, so you, your parents, who are the other 3?
My 3 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only girl.
Damn. Are you the youngest?
No, I have a little brother.
Okay, so you're the 3rd child.
Yeah.
So growing up with even like 3 boys in the household, what was that like for you? Were you getting bullied, or like were you getting like roughed up?
Well, it was great. Like at first, I remember the day, actually. I think I was in like fourth or fifth grade, and I was just outside, and I was just looking at my brothers play, and my dad came to me, and he was like, "Look, we're not having no more kids. There's not gonna be, you know what I mean? There's not gonna be any
Yeah.
girls here. So if you want to play, you have to play with them." So I
Oh my
got
God.
up and I grabbed the ball and I started playing with them. You know what I mean? And yeah, I remember one time one of my second oldest, he called me a bitch because I threw the remote at him. But my oldest brother ran downstairs and said, "Don't you ever call my sister a bitch."
Oh shit.
I was like, "Yeah."
There we go.
Yeah, so it taught me a lot.
That's tight. I mean, what was it teaching you at that young age, though?
Just that no matter how, like, I don't know, it was teaching me the capacity of like love from men in a way. Because it wasn't until later till I found like my homegirls that I like kind of felt what it was like to have that female energy around. But it was
Yeah.
helping me appreciate masculine energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's just funny because at the station, I think a lot of my female coworkers refer to it as big dick energy.
All right, yeah.
They're just having like a whole bunch of like masculinity, just
Yeah,
you know,
and just very, very secure in that
well, yeah,
energy. Yeah,
because I think also living in, I mean, even back then and even still to this day, it's such a male-dominated world. So just to feel some sort of support from somebody you're really close with who's a male,
yeah,
it must have felt really good for you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because it's especially growing up, like, I mean, you know, I was bullied and stuff before I realized, like, okay, if I'm funny, like, they fuck with me. You know what I mean? But, like, before there were any friends or anything outside, like, me and my brothers were throwing, like, talent shows, and we were
Oh, wow.
watching, movies together. My brother is the reason I really found hip-hop. Like, my oldest, like, he DJ'd, and he had, like, tapes and DJ Screw, and, like, he forced us to watch like every single Tupac documentary you can think of.
That's crazy.
I've watched, you know what I mean, multiple times. So
yeah, so he was really getting you into what hip hop really was.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in Texas, like letting you listen to music from DJ Screw.
Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
He took me to the screw shop. I remember when I was
What?
little. Yeah, I don't know why, but I think he had to stop because he wanted to buy a tape, and he was like, "I should see this." It was cool.
Did you ever? No, was DJ Screw still around back then? No, yeah. So then, watching all these Tupac documentaries when you were younger, going to the screw shop, learning a lot about hip hop. What was it about hip hop that was really encapsulating you?
Well, so I learned a lot about hip hop in a lot of different ways with three of them. So my older brother, he taught me more about like the foundation, and my second oldest, he's only like a year and a half older than me, so he was listening to like Royce the 5'9", and he was listening to like Nas, and like he put me on Lupe, and like so he taught me more of like the skill, you know, that hip hop has. You know what I mean? Not just the emotion, but the actual technical skill. And then my younger brother, we used to freestyle all the time. And we used to make songs and shit. So he taught me more about like
The emotion.
well, no, just the experimental side of it. Because he watched like anime, and he read like manga, and he like Lupe's mixtapes more than like when he was on his robot shit on his hashtag Wall Street, like interesting. Like he like my little brother loves Weezer and like fucking, you know what I mean?
Okay,
like
that's making sense. So like your younger brother showed you how hip hop can kind of be incorporated with different elements or like anything at that point.
Yeah.
Was your brother in that? I was like creeping on your YouTube. Was your brother in that like fake NPR Tiny Desk video?
No. No. Nah, there's some homies I met when I first moved out here to LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a bit. So then, you said you were doing talent shows with your brothers.
Yeah.
Were you doing that like just at the house, or were you doing that around the city?
Yo, so we used to just do it around the house, like in the bedrooms and like one at a time and we whatever. But there was a time around the neighborhood because we were some latchkey kids because my parents worked all the time, so
Okay.
we were outside, um, and we threw a talent show with all the neighborhood kids. We passed out flyers. No one came. Except for like you know what I mean, except for 3 kids that weren't the normal kids that come.
Yeah. Wait,
You know
how
what I
old
mean?
were you guys at this point? How old were you?
I had to be like, I don't know, in like 6th, 7th grade.
So maybe like 13-ish. You were
Yeah.
13 putting flyers around.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. So that was dope.
So then you said 3 people came to the show. What were you guys performing?
No. Well, all the kids came plus 3 other kids that usually don't come around. So it was like 12 kids. It was a good group.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and some of the girls, we made a song. Some guys, like, I don't know. It was some crazy, stupid shit. It was
Yeah.
like kids stuff.
Kids being kids.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So then even at that young age, were you getting like this feeling like, oh, I feel like I can be performing in front of people forever?
Yeah. Especially because, again, so I was bullied up until about like 7th grade when I started playing basketball. And then I realized or I thought to myself like, oh, okay, I think me and my brothers are funny. And if I start telling these jokes out loud, people laugh and they stop. And they
Stop bullying you.
yeah, and it's like, I can tap into people's hearts and minds. I can change what their perception is of me by being me out loud. Like, all right, bet. So, like, I never really shied away from a crowd since.
Dude, that's pretty cool that at the age of 13, you were really understanding, like, I just need to be myself, and people will either fuck with me or people won't.
Well, it was, I mean, it wasn't like I didn't think of it in that way.
Yeah.
So it was, actually, that's how I come up with my name, Lyric Michelle. It was more of a facade at that point that I didn't believe myself. Like, I didn't believe I was as funny as they thought I was, or I was as cool to be around as they thought I was.
Yeah.
But as long as they believe it, that will get me by.
Did that kind of like fuck with you mentally in a way because did you ever feel like you really weren't being yourself at that point because it was a facade?
No, also no. I felt like because I got to label it a facade, then I got to act with no fear. So it was all things I wanted to do.
Got you. Okay,
You know what I mean?
I got
but it's
you.
not me. Like,
Yeah.
So if something falls flat, or this is, it's all right.
I get you. So you knew you were putting yourself in that character, so
Yeah.
you were okay with it.
Yeah, it was a choice.
Dude, that makes sense. I fuck with that. I fuck with that tough, dude.
So,
So then, 13 years old. When did you start taking music more seriously?
not till way later. Almost like within the last maybe 4 or 5 years now. So like, I used to always write. Like, I wrote poetry and I would perform it first in class, and then after high school, I was just doing poetry a lot around Houston. Me and my homegirl, we went to high school together, and she would sing and I would do the poetry, and we were called Spoken, and we performed a lot. Yeah, we were like going around the city for a couple of years, and even went to New York and performed.
Damn.
And it was dope.
How'd you get all the way to New York?
We got booked for a show, so we saved up. I was bartending, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She was a server at some place, and we just went.
Dude, that's tight.
Yeah, it was cool. But then I've always made music, but like never took it serious. Because again, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's more like a stepping into what I really want to do, and that kind of makes me vulnerable if I tell people out loud. But I knew my poetry was good because I've always done it, and the people have always liked it. There was really no risk performing it because again, I like to perform, so it's not scary.
Yeah.
But do I make good music?
I mean, I think you do.
Oh, thank you.
Or were you asking yourself that?
I was. I was. Because I used to freestyle in school and, you know what I mean, on the bus and shit. And so when I was doing my poetry shit, she moved to New York, actually. And I just started making music.
Did you stay in New York with her, or did you end up going back to
Nah,
Houston?
I stayed in Houston because I started nursing school.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I started
bartending,
college.
music, to New York, poetry, come back, Houston, nursing school.
Yeah.
That's like a whole bunch of
different little lives.
Yeah, that's a lot. Why did you even decide to do nursing school?
Well, because again, I wasn't really talking to my parents, but they were still Nigerian parents. And though I wasn't living at home, I kind of felt like I know I'm going to do something super left with my life. So even though we don't connect right now, I'm going to do this for them. But like I was still performing and I was still like, you know, making music. And the program was 2 years, but I took a break because it got kind of hard to do all that. Then I went back. And yeah.
So for instance, I'm Filipino, so coming from a Filipino household,
right?
Initially they want you to become like a doctor or a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Is that very similar to how like they are in terms of a Nigerian household?
Yeah, it's 1,000%. Yeah, it's and it's out of love. It's definitely like they came here and with nothing, and they want you to have everything. And just the way that we are in the world, everything, and because of history of colonization, everything means the Western idea of happiness, which means more money.
Big house.
Big house.
White picket fence.
White picket fence and 2.5 kids had at.
And a couple dogs.
Yeah. Spot. But there's no even discussion on like personal peace.
Yeah. So then what was the discussion like for you telling your parents like, hey, I just want to do music for the rest of my life?
Oh, there was no discussion.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I just do it. And they, I mean, right before I came to LA, it was pretty cool actually. So they're not the type to like come to basketball games or my track meets or anything like that. Because, I mean, they're working and they're tired. Right before I went to Houston, I had a show at the House of Blues. And it was nice because it was kind of like stripped down and it was a guitar and just like me and lyrics. And people were sitting and I was sitting. And they came.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it weird for you?
Yeah. I was in the middle of like, you know, okay, all right.
It's like, because I feel like you wouldn't really expect that from them to actually be there.
Not in the league. Like my little brother came, but he comes when, you know, he's in town and my brothers, you know, come to whenever they can. So I guess he told them. And yeah.
How'd that really make you feel though?
It's interesting. I don't know. Because my brother told me later, like my dad nudged like a stranger. It was like, that's my daughter. Oh. And it was like, it's interesting because it's very touching and it's very like reassuring and reaffirming. But there was a long span where we didn't talk.
Why was that?
Just you know, if you view life differently, you know.
Well, they wanted you to go one way, and then you wanted to go the other way.
Yeah.
And without blatantly telling them, I'm going to pursue music, they kind of just saw you doing your
Pursuing it.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, were there any moments where they were kind of just like dead ass mad at you? Like,
Yeah. I got kicked out
oh
twice.
shit.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I got kicked out when I was 18, just because, I don't know why. I forgot, actually. I know we got in an argument, but we argued all the time. I saw my older brother. He was playing basketball at the time, and he still loves basketball. But he got a bad score on one of his tests because he was a biology major. But you can't be a biology major on the full ride playing basketball. You don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But that was their condition for him. And just to kind of see that, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't want that. That is worse than someone being mad at me.
Yeah.
So I just did my thing.
Well, because I feel like at that point, and no shade to your parents at all, but I feel like at that point, it's like, here, I'm willing to let you do what you want to do, but under my conditions.
Yeah.
It's not fully letting you like sprout your wings,
Right.
so to speak.
And again, it took me a while to really fully understand that for them, every single thing that they've done is for us, better or worse.
Yeah.
Every single thing. And they weren't even allowed to have dreams, let alone pursue them.
Yeah. Well, because especially moving into America,
Yeah.
the first thing they needed to do was like, all right, what's the quickest way and what's the best way to maintain money?
Right. Yeah. I think they underestimated what it was like to really move to the land of dreams and what that would do to your children.
So then do you think that, for instance, whenever I go back home to the Philippines, I really much enjoy like that simpler life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can just walk around damn near bare ass naked,
Right.
and I'll be chill because all my cousins are too and whatever.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like going back to my roots and understanding where my family comes from. It simplifies my life even more, and it gives me a sense of like, I guess I feel more normal that way. Do you ever feel like, I mean, I guess as a society, should we like kind of like revert back to like those simple things and not necessarily worry too much about like, I need money now, I need this job so I can like feed my family and all this?
I mean, I think there's no complete right and complete wrong answer as to like how to live, you know what I mean, in the sense that everyone's different. But I do know that I never want to never want to spend my life waiting and hoping and counting the days down to a weekend.
Damn.
You know? Like,
damn. Fuck.
Yeah, I feel like as long as whatever you're doing, if you are an accountant and you love numbers and you love what it's like to meet a deadline faster than your other coworker and eventually like have a board meeting that goes your way, that gets you the thing that you're trying to get to, and that fulfills you, then more power to you. You know what I mean? Go have your small talks at the water cooler and do your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if every day you are staring at the clock, what kind of existence is that?
Yeah. Dude, I really feel that.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who put it in a better way. Like no, for real. Because I think we normally go through life thinking like, okay, it's Monday.
Right.
It's Tuesday. Okay, Wednesday's here. I'm halfway there. What do you mean you're halfway there?
Halfway where?
Yeah, Thursday. People refer to Thursday as Friday Junior.
Right.
Then once Friday hits, it's Friday. Yay, Saturday. And then it's like, oh, God. Once Sunday hits, it's like, damn, Monday's tomorrow.
Right. And none of that exists. Like, not really. The only thing that's real is the exact present time that you are in. And if you're holding your breath until you're somewhere else, like, you're still going to be there regardless if another time comes. This time is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And to not care about it so much, it's like, or to feel, or to be trapped in that mindset. I don't want to pretend like it's voluntary for a lot of people.
So then how do you live in the moment, you as Lyric Michelle, or just as Michelle?
Right.
What are your pro tips?
I don't know. Don't listen to my pro tips because people hate me. Like, when I'm out or I'm with someone, like, I usually never check my phone. Like, I check my phone in the interim, like in between times, or when I'm waiting, or if I went to the bathroom real quick, which the person I'm with enjoys. But then I'm not a very good texter.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to do it. I just whatever I am and whatever I'm doing,
You just tend to like
focus.
Block off everything else that's happening that isn't like personally right next to you at that point in time.
Yeah.
But then, even living in this like social media realm of things, do you ever feel like you are like missing out on what else is happening throughout the world?
No, because if I want to know what's happening throughout the world, then that's what I'm doing. If I'm watching the news because I haven't been able to in a couple weeks, then I'm going to spend an hour and catch up. And then so then I can set it aside and say I did that. Because if you scroll, if you watch every hashtag every day or the news every single day, you realize that there are subtle changes that they always recap. They always recap at the top of the episode. So just wait till you're ready to sit down.
I get you.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It seems like it is. Like, oh, no, it's not. None of it's going anywhere. You can recap.
Yeah.
Or you can not. Or you know what I mean?
Well, so then, let me get this straight. So what you like to do is, let's say your day is, obviously in 24 hours, but like, let's say hypothetically you dedicate like 6 hours to just like yourself, right? 9 hours to just sleeping, like 2 hours just being with like whoever you're with at that time. And then you accompany the rest of the hours just focusing on like, let's say it be news, let's say it be like social media, let's say it just be like music, and you're really just like honed in on whatever you are doing at that point in time.
Yeah. And because there are so many things to do, I don't end up being able to cover everything.
Yeah.
So every subject has its day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then when do you fit in music in terms of like your days or your weeks?
Well, that's
like,
different.
Okay.
I write every day. Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry. The reason I was later than I planned to is because I was parked somewhere and I wanted to get out, finish this idea that I had.
Oh, shit. What was it?
Just a 4-bar. Well, the whole thing is, I think, 16, but I wrote it earlier today, but I finally thought of what I wanted to think of.
What was the subject matter?
Of the song? I was kind of talking my shit, but what was it? I need no jewels, no, not never. I think these diamonds fit me better. They know conflict, so I get them from where I'm from. Afro killer. I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go overseas to find. I'm trying to. Oh, I'm trying to live in seas and no. I'm trying to go overseas. I want to live in trees. I want to see monkeys and see they shenanigans, honeybees. No, they don't bother me, but they love me sweet. I think the bear he mad again. He something like that.
Dude, and you were just writing that like right before you got in here?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a nice little like 4 bars.
Thanks.
That's tight. And you tend to just like do you find like any pocket in the day just like write something if like something inspires you?
Yeah, but I always end the day writing.
Wow. Why is that?
I have no idea. I just I hate to like I hate to come home and go straight to sleep because most days I'm out, you know what I mean? Like, so most days my energy's given to all the people that I'm meeting, which I love. They give me their energy,
Yeah.
but I never want to end the day without giving myself that same like attention.
God.
I
God.
feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you are, and I love it. Do you not hear these bars right now? Dude. Because I don't think okay, so me even growing up in like a Catholic household, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was just raised to think like religion, God is power and all that, which is great, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up Catholic.
And I think within like the past year, a lot of people have been using the word energy. And it's like, you know, I've always known what energy is or I've had an idea of it. But then I don't think it was up until this past year where I actually realized like, oh, energy is not just what I think everyone thinks it is, which is just like, oh, like hell energetic and all that. But it's just like literally what you give into the world is what you get back. And like all these conversations that we have with each other, like it just... I kind of see energy as like this little ball that we have, and like anything that you feed me, like I'm feeding it.
Right. Yeah.
Type of shit.
That's 100%. I don't think when people talk about like, I don't know, like you said, energy and vibration and frequency and law of attraction or any of these topics that seem new-ish because social media and hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as esoteric or as intangible as people make it seem, who may not actually be in like a daily practice of it in a way. Not as if, you know what I mean, like I'm the fucking one. Like I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm trying every day. Like, but it's not this thing. It's just acknowledging and putting words to what's already happening.
Yeah.
And once you acknowledge what's happening and you put words to it, then you can manipulate it and you're conscious of it.
Yeah. And I think for you, being able to acknowledge the fact at the end of the day, like I've given so much energy to other people and received energy from other people as well, you still owe it to yourself to put energy back into yourself.
Yeah.
That's really insane to me, dude. Like, because I don't know. There's days where I go back to my crib and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just Netflix at the end of the day. And then the next day when I wake up, I kind of feel like shit because I was like, fuck, I kind of just didn't do anything that last night.
I mean, and I don't even want to say like, I don't think it's as like the people putting energy back into yourself is as like an elite thing that only like gurus do when they meditate. Because I meditate, you know what I mean? Because I meditate daily.
Oh, wow.
And it's not this, like I'm not expecting to hover and, you know, see the face of God when I'm meditating. You know, if it happens, it happens. But
Start floating and shit just randomly.
Right. But the point of it is being present and acknowledging thoughts and just deciding what you're doing with your time. So in the same sense that I'll read or I'll write. I always have to write, but if I only write half the time and the other time I'm watching the movie, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I love film. I love it. So no, I won't just, you know, watch anything and my roommates make fun of me because, girl, I mean, this girl, she had me watching something called My Side Chick Won the Lottery. I was like,
Nah,
but
hell
she,
no.
but she, you know what I mean? Like, you know, more power to them. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's just not exactly what I'm watching on all the time. But I don't. You can see art in anything, and so taking that
Yeah.
in, taking a really good movie in, or good episode of This Is Us or some shit, like
Yeah.
that's okay. That's you're not expounding too much energy, and you're being fulfilled by those people who created that piece of work.
I get you. So you even like a part of you still finds some sort of inspiration by like other content that you're assuming at
Oh
the same
yeah,
time.
yeah. Because I love. I mean, later on this year, I'm gonna be. Well, I'm writing now, but we're gonna shoot, and I'm gonna direct a limited series, and I want my music to be scored for it, but I want the series to stand alone,
Tight.
like just a short. But that comes from loving cinema, you know, loving what can be done in that medium.
So then what is your limited series about?
Well, it's it takes us on a journey of a girl kind of finding the meaning in her strength. It's like Punisher meets Jesse Jones meets Mr. Robot.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
her magic when she uses these gifts, if she uses them kind of not in a safe way, or when she's angry and when she's not being controlled, they hurt her and they make her sick. But when she finds out how to channel, you know, her power.
What are her powers?
So we're still writing and developing the
Okay.
works, but I think you'll really enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know you guys are still in like the writing process of it. So then what is that how does that help you even being like a musician? Does it kind of like balance everything out since you're focused on like music and you're also focused on writing a film? Or do you kind of have to decide which one to put on the back burner for the time being?
No, I think everything helps the other thing. Like, so I've acted in like short films and in a couple episodic projects, and like as long as I'm creating, I think it opens. Sorry, it like opens up all the doors in a way. It just when you're in that state of flow, it's just like you create as much as you can and finish it, put it out more and more. Yeah.
I feel you. Do you get that like anxiety that you need to get something done if it's not done?
Sometimes. Sometimes. And that's why I try to understand that like as long as you're doing good work and you're really being true to yourself and it's good and it's good quality, that is the success. When people turn their eyes to it, I mean, you're not in control of that. You know, you can do what you can, but I'm even thinking of like Viola Davis and like Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
I've watched them since I was like young. I remember like in different shows and different movies. They were always great. And just now they're kind of getting their flowers. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Okay, so you just live your life, and randomly one person will be like, "Hey, she's good." What? Oh, but you
Let's
can't
put her on.
exactly.
Yeah.
But you can't wait for that to.
Yeah. I think like every single one of us has potential to be great, but I think the problem stems from a lot of us don't recognize that there's no such thing as an overnight success. You know what I mean? Like, in order to become, let's say, like the greatest lyricist, you're not just gonna write one song and then boom, you're the greatest lyricist.
Yeah.
For you, there's probably like multiple like notebooks of songs that you've written just to get to like this point alone.
Yeah. Yeah. All my life. All my life. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's why I love Houston. I love Houston so much, but I am happy that I moved to LA when I did in the last like year and a half. Just being exposed to things you're not exposed to when you've been somewhere your whole life.
Yeah.
And like a new wave and a fresh like energy of creatives. It's not as if, my home city doesn't have wonderful, hardworking, and very talented creatives, but sometimes you just need a new set of eyes. And it's like I've gotten to meet people who have directed, what is it, blockbuster films, and I've gotten to meet like record execs, and I've gotten to meet like really well-known actors, and I've gotten to meet really not so well-known actors. I've gotten to meet not so well-known executives, or it just, for me, it just kind of pulls back the veil in the sense that everyone is out here doing their best and just creating. Everything else is outside of all the actual people who are working. What other people are talking about, when they talk about it, why or no, just create if you are a creator. And that can be, or you should take at least a few seconds to appreciate your creation.
Yeah.
Before you wonder how many other people will.
One thing that my girl always told me was that always appreciate the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people see like an artist or an actor or somebody just pop up out of nowhere and then don't recognize all the hard work that was put into it prior. But then all of them started from where we're all starting from, like just the dead ass bottom. And it's like, look, in order to escalate to the highest point ever, the only way to go up is to start from the bottom. And if you're not putting in every single brick and laying that foundation just to get to the top, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. It was cool. I'm forgetting his name, but I talked to the recent director of Creed 2. It was after, it was really dope. It was after a Q&A they had at the I think the New York Academy Film School. And he was just a cool dude. So I was just talking to him, and he kind of reinforced, and he said something that was like so dope that I thought I've heard before, but in just the way that he put it, it's like you're not going to whoever you think has made it and asking them to help you make it. Like, you're not looking up trying to ask someone to help bring you up. You're working with your classmates, your friends, your other people who are driven like you. And when you move a little bit up, why wouldn't you ask your homie who's a great photographer to be the one on this project? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't they ask their great DP to be? Because the guys are just not seeing it in a way that's so I don't know, me first. It's almost let's all put our powers combined and
Make
slowly
move up
create
together.
and that's a fucking wave.
I think the difficult part with that, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think everybody, no matter what we're doing, should work together. And if you think there's a dope photographer or a dope videographer or a dope rapper, it's like, yo, there's this show over here. These people need their photos taken. Like, you know, it should be as easy as that. But I think the problem, especially being in LA, is the fact that there are a lot of people who are just willing to, like, use you, and, you know, 5 times out of 10, it's like for wrong intentions. And then later on in life, I think a lot of people are also scared to see, like, let's say I'm an interviewer, right? If I throw you to somebody else, somebody would be scared to see, like, oh, but that interviewer might get, like, better than me. So I can't, you know, I need to keep them down in order to keep me up. And that's such a backwards way of thinking. But unfortunately, I feel like that's how a lot of people, especially in LA, think, you know?
And I don't know. I mean, you might be right. I just I know what you mean. And I've come across different situations that weren't on the up and up. But I've come across fucked up situations my whole life. So in only the little time I've been here, I just never equated that to LA or to the business. I just know people are fucked up, and I've seen a lot of fucked up shit that people have done in life. So I don't really ever take it personal. Again, that's lyric that you guys are talking about. Like, I'm not taking it personal. You know what I mean? Like, and I've just met so many people, more than I thought I would before I came here, that are in positions of power in a way that are black and that are smart and that are kind and that are giving of advice. I mean, and that's I guess more what I mean, because I don't really know what it is to make it in a sense that some people might think. So maybe the closer you get, the hotter the fire is. But for now, I'm chilling and people are nice.
So then what is, like, making it to you?
To me, I just want to be able to buy me and my people a little place to live and not have to worry about a 401k or some shit.
I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to do that in California, though, because it is.
I'm
just saying.
Yeah. Yo, that's one thing. Look, and they told me it never rains in Southern California. They lied. Like, there's a lot of things I felt bamboozled on. Hoodwinked. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Hey, no, that's a good ass word. I haven't heard hoodwinked in hella long. I fuck with that. That's the fucking lyricist out of you pulling out. Yeah, I learned this word out the vocabulary book right now. You feel me?
I hope that's a word. I don't know.
No, it is a word.
Oh,
yeah, it means tricked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoodwinked.
Yeah.
Led astray. Okay.
So, you know, I grew up in a household with, like, plenty of women. You know, my dad was around. I had a couple uncles, maybe, like, a couple, like, male cousins here and there. But I grew up with a lot of women in my family, right? So I'm really big on, like, women empowerment. And I guess to a degree you could call me a feminist. And then one thing that I was really fucking with your sound for, I think even on your YouTube channel, you had this freestyle going on. It was, like, you and, like, a whole bunch of females, like, with, like, cars in the back and shit. Yeah. And, you know, I was over here just like, yeah. What are your thoughts in regards to, like, women empowerment happening right now? Because it's been escalating within the past couple of years.
Yeah. There's a lot to say, but all in all, I think it's good. I think we have kind of short attentions, not short memories, in the sense that a lot of this isn't new. Like, we all go through waves, even as a society. Like, there was a resurgence of feminism, like, in the 90s, and before then, in like the early to like late 70s, and before then, 60s, and it comes in waves, and that's, I think, just how progression comes, is like fights until it gets to a certain point, and because of oppression, it falls back a little bit, but it's still further than it was in the beginning. And then we regroup and we fight again. So I think this is just a new wave, and I hope it lasts longer this time. But I already kind of see the resistance fighting back. So I am happy, but I am cautious.
It's kind of interesting how you said, like, even with putting an amount of resistance, like, through a wave, it tends to, like, go back.
Yeah.
So then, in a sense, like, do you feel like women will ever get, like, those true equal rights in this world if all we're going to do is, like, keep on pushing forward, and then we're just going to go back to square one, keep on pushing forward, then go back to square one again?
I don't think we go back to square one. I think we keep on pushing forward. We push forward 10 steps, and they push us back 4. That's 6 more steps than, we had before. But they're not going to let us get 10 steps. What are you, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what? No, back the fuck up. Like, I am an oppressor. That's my job. That's why I'm here. So, yeah, I mean, slow and steady wins the race, I guess. No. Just keep pushing.
That's real. Slow and steady, that's basically like the slow growth until everybody, like, it's a slow burn. I think if you were to just, like, drill something in somebody's head, like, immediately, they'd be traumatized, right?
Right.
But then if you just, like, constantly teach them, like, hey, women are people too, or women can do stuff better than men in certain things, like.
Well, yeah, I feel you, but I still mean yell and scream and demand. Because I think that's the wave. Because we're always polite until it gets too bad, then we yell and scream, and we get a little bit more, and then we're polite. But, like, what's going on now isn't new to any woman, really. Mm-hmm. It's just new to as many people that are paying attention. Because before, we were politely saying, hey, this guy is kind of fucked up, or, hey, I'm not getting, paid like everyone else, or the images that you're showing are not really representing me. You know what I mean? And no one was listening, so we said it a little bit louder and a little bit louder, and started some hashtags and went out to some protests and started to scream. And people were like, oh, well, what's going on? You said, when did this started happening? The fuck? Like, I've been saying it. Like, when did it start happening? Like,
yeah. I get you. And, like, the louder you are, then the more they realize that it's actually happening.
Right.
But it's been happening forever.
Right. And I just think history shows us progression kind of, there's a peak with it, with how loud you can be and how much change will be made before you are pushed back a couple steps, and then you try again.
So then in terms of, like, today, like, in a feminist wave, are we at, like, a peak right now, or are we
I don't know. And we won't know till the dust settles, because I still think I don't know. I'm starting to see more and more people say, like, I don't know. all all these allegations or all these people getting canceled, like when will it end? Without thinking about the other side, like the point of this. Like I've seen like critics to Me Too already. I'm like, it just started. Like, god damn. You know what I mean? And I get some of the critiques, but I think they are ill informed. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is just if I'm just outside looking in, kind of watching.
Well, informed in what way? Like, what critiques have you seen where you're just like, that's not even right?
I saw this a while back, and I don't really do a lot of the like talking about what's going on. I don't know what's like a hot topic type shit. But there was a story about someone who was kind of pushy on a date. And it was kind of around or in the Me Too conversation. And people were like, oh, if you can't do that, what can you do? I'm not supposed to, if I go to work, I can't give you a hug now? First of all, no one at work wants you to hug them. The fuck? Do not hug me at work. I don't want to hug you at work. Yeah, that's what that means. You don't hug me at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just because it's not rape or murder doesn't mean it's not uncomfortable. The conversation is about all of the little things and the worst thing. But the worst thing doesn't stand alone. So you can point out icky behavior and just say this guy's kind of icky. Not that you hate the guy or you whatever, but this is icky.
Yeah.
Without being like, oh, well, now we can't even marry our coworker. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like it's not a hard concept.
Yeah.
It's not hard at all.
I think at the same time too.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'm happy. First of all, thank you for sharing that, especially since you don't share that with many people. But like, I think on the flip side too, especially coming from a man's perspective, it's like sometimes we're unable to recognize like who's willing to take that level of comfort versus who is not. Mm-hmm. So for example, like when I'm at work and it's like I see a female coworker who I've already been like accustomed to, we already know each other, I'll give you a hug. And if they're willing to accept it, they accept it. But then there's also other coworkers who it's like, I don't really know, and they don't really know me. So it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just understanding the level of comfortability that a particular person is like wants.
Yeah. And if you're not sure, you can just ask. And that's that, folks. You know what I mean? Like, oh, can I have a hug, Tasha? Have you asked her? Well, no, I didn't even know if she should have an opinion on that matter.
Damn. As simple as that was deep as shit. I fuck with that. So let's go to Bootstraps.
Yeah.
Let's go to Bootstraps. Mm-hmm. What was the meaning behind Bootstraps? Because I have a couple things in mind, but I want to hear it from you.
People are going to say I'm angry because the conversation, it has to do with bootstraps. So I like what you did there, sir. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you do this. I see it.
Yeah, I do my research. I watched it like 3 times. And I was like, okay, I'm going to link this with this.
It was just about like not taking shit, really. It was a lot of what I've seen going on now, especially with like you said, the resurgence of like kind of a feminist movement and Black Lives Matter, and just kind of more like moral and forward-thinking ideas are being popular. That also comes with louder critics, you know? And my music my topics have been my topics since I've started writing poetry. Yeah. So I've always been like a kind of studying and seeing, like watching what's going on. And that song came from, like, I have a history of abuse, and I know what that is, and to be in that type of situation. But that's not the end, you know what I mean? Like, of my story or of millions of other men and women of our story. That's not the end. Like, there is so much more. And I am taking my power without your permission.
For people who haven't watched the video, let me just paint the picture. First off, Lyric is in a, I don't know, like I guess I would say like a Texas-ish house, how I would like envision it. Maybe like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house type shit, right? And I think on one of the first scenes, there was this refrigerator and it said pro-choice with guns on it. And I'm like, okay, wait, where's this going? And then I saw a MAGA hat in there. I'm like, okay, wait. Now I'm like even more confused. And then there was like a television in there. There was a white guy. I'm going to just say there was a white guy on there. Probably a conservative. And then later on in the short music video, you see that there is a white male locked up in the restroom, and Michelle just beats him with a stick to shut the fuck up because he was making noise. And so to me, I was kind of getting this idea that the like the script was like flipped, and you were kind of like putting a white male in the perspective of like what you would be going through.
Yeah. I mean, thanks. Yeah. I loved how that came together because it was me and, funny you say, Marco actually produced
it.
Yeah, and Jessica
directed it. Yo, my bad, y'all.
Yeah, you better give my girl her props. You know what I mean?
No, Jessica's really good.
She out here, and that's what I loved because I don't know, seeing her work and seeing them work together, and like we always inspired me, and they're very good at what they do, and we didn't really have an idea at first. We sat down, all three of us, and bouncing off ideas. And then that's when I came up with the story, because I just wanted to, I just wanted to create something that kind of had the same theme in mind without like over-explaining what I mean. Because it's like, don't cry to me, wipe those tears, 'cause honestly, nobody cares. You down, they pushed you, blamed you for the fall. How you gonna get up off the ground? You know what I mean? Like, like they pushed, like, so now I'll push you down there, and I'll blame you because you're falling. And well, how am I supposed to get up? Well, use your fucking bootstraps. Like, that's what they told me. You know?
Kind of just do it by yourself.
Yeah. That's why I move into, your house is my house now. Your fridge is my fridge. Oh, you need help? Help yourself. Damn. Stop being lazy.
I think after hearing your explanation, it really makes me appreciate Bootstraps even more so.
Thanks.
I'm just going to say this right now. If you ain't watched Bootstraps, it's on Lyric Michelle's YouTube page right now, and you need to watch that. It's very eye-opening. Something that I feel like we all need to watch. Produced by Marcos, directed by Jessica.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, 2019 is currently happening right now. What can we expect from you as Lyric Michelle, the artist, aside from like the film that you are working on?
Mm-hmm. Well, Lyric I just want to constantly live in no fear and put out everything and just create more. Because I feel like these ideas aren't, I mean, they're infinite. And there's so many wonderful ideas in some cemetery somewhere that were never seen out, you know? And I just want to live in that. I want to direct and create and produce this short and put out more music. And we're currently shooting a documentary, and I'm still going out and auditioning, and I'm still performing. I got a show in Santa Monica this Saturday, February 2nd. Yeah, Neighborhood Watch. Shout out to them. I just want to do everything. I'm actually headed in a couple hours to do a meetup run with my Nike team. We ran the marathon, the Chicago Marathon last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you work out too. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was a great experience. It was sponsored by Nike. They really took care of us. 35 women. We were just all dreamers and all never ran before. And yeah, I just want to do more of that and better.
More for your body, more for your soul, and more for other people to learn from is what I'm getting from it.
And to learn from other people. Yeah, I don't know everything. I don't know shit.
Amen to that. Ain't none of us know shit. That's why we do these podcasts, man. Hey. This is the lunch table. Oh, Michelle, tell everybody where they could find you too.
It's Lyric Michelle. And you can find me at lyricmichelle.com or at I Am Lyric. You can follow me everywhere.
Yay! This is the lunch table. Food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Peace out, everybody.